going on, everybody? Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of the Watch Report with me, Jean-Luc. Well, everybody make some noise, clap it up. We're back again. First episode of the year. Get excited, go crazy. My goodness, we have so much coming down the pipe for you all. We almost hit 100 subscribers last year, and I'm so thankful and happy for it. Got a bunch of listeners on the podcast. And just as a reminder, we're on YouTube, Google, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every major podcasting platform. Yes, we are. We are global, worldwide, absolutely. And so you can listen to me everywhere and any place at any point in time. And if you're watching right here on YouTube, please leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with everybody that you know, and share the channel with everybody that you know, so we can build up this empire together. Oh yes, I can't do it without your help, and I'm going to do my best to bring the best quality of content to you. And I'm sure you will support, because I do this for you, the viewers, the people. Hopefully my fans or my haters, whoever you are, don't matter. I do it for you anyway. You know why? Because I care about what I do. You see? You hear? Don't you feel the passion? Don't you feel the fervor? The flair? For the dramatic? Oh, man. But again, thank you for all the support, and I appreciate it. And honestly, I would love to bring in New Year with a happier subject. Absolutely. Happier topic, something a little more upbeat. But feel it necessary that we should not talk about some of the other things that happen in the world of sports as much as I would love to. Would love to talk about Donovan Mitchell's 71-point game. Would love to talk about the MVP race. Would love to talk about so much stuff that's going on in the world of sports, but as it is understood, and rightfully so, all of that has kind of been put on the back burner for sports news, because Monday night in the Bills versus Bengals, very heart-wrenching and heart-stopping, both literally and figuratively. Event occurred where Damar Hamlin, safety for the Buffalo Bills, essentially, as reports say, had a heart attack on the field and collapsed. And it really did bring into perspective just how much we disassociate real life from sports while we are in sports. And it's a really scary proposition that I want to talk about. Not just the event, but kind of what this has opened a lot of people's eyes to, or reminded us of, rather, as a whole, as fans. This really showed kind of that we forget the risk that is incurred when people take part in these athletic events. Now, normally, okay, risk, injuries, all that stuff, you can break a bone. We've seen the long-lasting effects of playing whatever game it may be on players, and for many people, it became understood. It really did. It became understood that, hey, you do sacrifice your body and for the game that you love, and these can be the consequences. But we never kind of look at that and said, oh, man, yeah, these can be the consequences. It was more so par for the course. This is what comes with the sport. But one of the things that we fail, or rather maybe have just forgotten that it's really brought to light, is that it's not just the toll on the body. It's the risk of life that you can have when playing this sport, the loss of life that can potentially happen when you play this sport. And Damar Hamlin really showed or reminded us of that fact, and we hate to see it. We hate to see it. And you bring it back to Ryan Shazier when he got paralyzed making a routine tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Blooming talent, somebody we were thinking was going to be one of the best, and was going to be the best, one of the best, if not the best linebacker once he hit his prime, he was already making phenomenal strides and makes a routine tackle, and boom, just like that, life changed forever. And we were sitting and having a scary thought of, oh, he's not moving at all. What was going on? Same thing happened today, like yesterday, with Damar Hamlin, and it looked like, just like Ryan Shazier, a routine tackle. Yeah, a little high on the head in terms of the helmet-to-helmet collision that Hamlin got the worst of. Hamlin got the worst of. And if you watch the replay, it was a solid hit, but it seemed like something that people normally get up from. Something that people normally, okay, boom, on to the next play. Let's just keep it rolling, get back to the huddle. And then just getting up, getting his helmet situated, and then all of a sudden falling back again really set the precedent for, oh, this is different. This isn't just your normal average injury or average potential concussion, as many people thought it was. And then it got to the news where CPR was administered for 10 minutes. Joe Buck and a lot of the broadcasting staff didn't really have any words. And now it got to a point where, hey, this isn't normal. This is not normal. This is frightening. This is scary. This is legitimately life-threatening. And that moment let me kind of reflect, hopefully you do too, on how we take the ability to not only just to play sports for granted, but we take the risk of life that this game has on people. It's football. We love the sport. I love the sport. It's now America's pastime, overtaking baseball. Not arguably, is the most popular sport in America today. But with that, we look at these athletes as just athletes and forget the human aspect that these are still people that, not like I said before, get injured, risk their bodies, but also risk their life. Now we understand the first two. It's the third one that really gets over our heads a lot of times we're watching these games. And it's because of the fact that we get so caught up in the grandiose nature of sports. The storytelling, the moments, the larger-than-life players. Again, sports are our modern-day Greek mythology. People, athletes, larger-than-life characters accomplishing seemingly inhuman feats and incredible achievements of strength, ability, agility, intelligence, endurance, teamwork, all of it, encapsulating the all the emotions that a person can experience and reflecting the grit, determination, and just the human spirit as a whole when it comes to the striving to succeed and accomplishing a goal. It's what sports does. It's why we love it. But we, a lot of times, don't associate the risk of life with that. Many times we disassociate it because again, the sphere of sports is unique for anything else because anything else can happen in the world. But once you step on the pitch, like we saw in the World Cup, or once you step on the football field, once you step on the basketball court, whatever field of play or court of play, whatever way that you play, once you step out on there, it's like everything goes away. You forget all about it because you just want to see, oh my gosh, the incredible happen. And understandably so. It's one of the greatest things about sports, the ability to just disconnect and just enjoy the game itself. But lives are on the line when it comes to playing football. As with many other sports. Lives are on the line. And in football, we sometimes don't. We forget that. And this is one of the situations where it was right in our face, blatant and apparent. And really show that we have to always keep in mind that these are not just athletes. These are not just larger than life characters. Not Josh Allen, but Josh Allen is not just Josh Allen, the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes and just Patrick Mahomes, the superstar. Tom Brady is not just Tom Brady, the quote unquote GOAT. They're not just titles, not just monikers. They're not just these people in a sphere, only in a sphere. These are people in real life. And this game takes pieces out of that life. And sometimes it can risk taking the life as a whole. Take it all from you. You lose something every time you play football. Absolutely. You lose a piece of yourself every time you step on that football field. And sometimes football takes everything from you. But because of the sport, we love to see the risk. That's one of the big things. That's the attractive draw of football. We love to see the risk. We love to see the potential for what can potentially go wrong. Not because we want to see something go wrong, but that adds to the heightened drama of everything that's transpiring. Every big run can be both catastrophic and monumental. Every big pass can be an incredible collision or a incredible display of athleticism and perseverance. Every tackle can be game-saving and life-changing at the same time. It's the balancing act of risk and reward is so there, and it's such a fine line in the world of football, as well as in other sports, especially in not basketball, especially in boxing and combat sports. But football, it's that potential of oh shoot, that rising action of oh my gosh, what could happen? And then the climax of that action can be a number of possibilities. That's what makes it so endearing, so frightening, yet you can't turn your eyes away from it. You can't. So we love to see big hits. We love to see, scrums and sprawls and people front flips and all that stuff, all that action. But we forget that this is not a video game. This is not something that's relegated to just our enjoyment. These are legitimate people, while living out their dreams, are are in fact putting their life on the line. That all this could end in a heartbeat. And with Damar Hamlin, that's exactly what happened. Suffered a cardiac arrest on the field after what looked like a routine tackle. 10 minutes of CPR, thankfully a quick response by staff on hand, medical staff on hand, and it sucked the life out of the building, sucked the life out of the game, and it made us reflect back to this isn't just a game. This is a job. This is a risk. This is something that people sacrifice for, more than just time and more than just aches and pains. It's frightening. And this event of Damar Hamlin brought us back to that situation, or that outlook of it's frightening. Truly is frightening. And it's a somber reminder of the risk that these players take every time they're out on the field, and why they deserve so much respect. Why these are not just athletes, like was a trend way back when, 2016, 2017? These are not just, these are people. These are people. And we don't want to see people go through pain. We don't. I don't. And credit to the NFL and the players for choosing not to have this game continue, because this is bigger than football. This is larger than just a game. I don't care how pivotal, how much of an impact this game could have had on conference standings, on playoff uh, 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 um, ramifications. All that's irrelevant. This is a situation where somebody, a young player, Damar Hamlin, who's, again, since he's been playing, has had a good year in the biggest game of his career to date, playing his dream, playing in the sport that he loves, playing to, at this point in time, the biggest stage of his career. And it was all potentially taken out in an instant. At the drop of a hat. Thankfully, right now, he's at medical hospital. Reports say that he's stable. Reports say that he's doing okay. But at the time of doing this podcast, anything could happen. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Right now, it seems like he's getting better and better. But again, by the time I'm updating as we speak to make sure I'm on top of everything that's going on. But stuff could change in a heartbeat. In an absolute heartbeat. And I'm scared for the worst. Because I don't want this young brother potentially going down by the wayside. I don't want that to happen. In fact, right now, he's still in critical condition. At potentially life on a string. This is the reality of sports. This is the reality of football. These aren't just players. This is a major undertaking that every athlete who chooses to walk on that field risk their life to live out a dream that they trained for who knows how long. And it's a somber reminder that these people are not pawns, are not just athletes, are not just players, but they're real, as you and me, as you sitting in the crowd. And this thing that they're doing, the reason why you have to be, is a special type of player to play football. And there's a reason why we shouldn't treat players as just fodder or whatever. Just outside of the field of play, you're just an athlete or whatever. Nah. The amount of risk that you take when you play football, many other sports as well, but especially in football, is an undertaking unlike few things in the sports realm. Few things in life. And because of that, when situations like this happen and potentially lives can be lost at any given point in time, it's a point of pause that thankfully everybody's doing that shows that, yeah, this isn't important. This isn't important. When it comes to the light, this isn't important. When it comes to somebody potentially dying, this isn't important. A life-altering event, this game is whatever. Again, credit them for canceling the game. It's what should have been done. But it's somber. Incredibly somber. Incredibly frightening. Incredibly haunting. That this is the pullback to reality of just how much you sacrifice when you play this game of football. Again, Bomani Jones said it best on CNN. There is no way to make football safer or safe. Let me rephrase that. Safe. Not safer, safe. You can make it safer. You can never make it safe. You can never make it safe. You can turn a dual-bladed katana into a single-blade katana. It's still a katana. It's not safe. It may be safer, but it's not safe. You'll never make the sport safe. The nature of the sport isn't safe. The nature of the sport is chaotic, reckless. It's explosive, dynamic, a constant collision. That's what football is, a constant collision, perpetual motion up until the clock strikes zero and the final whistle's blown. Perpetual motion and perpetual collision. The entire game is nothing but people running into each other at full speed. There's no way to make that safe. There's no way to make that safe. You can take steps to make it safer. As safe as possible, but it'll never be truly safe. Because that is what football is in and of itself. It's not safe. It's not safe at all. And so, with that, we should be able, with this reminder, well, of a cataclysmic, of a potentially, well, no, it's already catastrophic because you never want to see a person or player in critical condition, potentially holding on to life by a thread. So it's catastrophic. And it's a dark reminder that this isn't just a game. This is bigger than what many of us choose to realize. And you got people on the internet, trolls and all that stuff, saying things and doing things, and then saying, "Oh no, yeah, continue the game," or whatever. NFL thankfully didn't make the same mistake that WWE did with Owen Hart when he died in the ring, collapsing from the ceiling on an entrance. They instead decided to continue the show. Now, granted, they did it in the most respectful way possible, but even still, it was the wrong decision. NFL made the right decision. Some people, like Skip Bayless, seem to think that shouldn't have been the case. Now, this is the second thing I want to touch on. Skip Bayless. You know, people like him. I don't call out people. I don't like going at stuff. How you feel is how you feel. But this is detrimental. This is detrimental. And he knows it. Skip Bayless has been a polarizing figure. He's been a man who many people know as says outlandish stuff. Genuinely believes it, but says outlandish stuff often. Just got through a whole situation of being disrespectful to Shannon Sharp, his co-host, diminishing his accolades, getting on him about being jealous of Tom Brady, a bunch of stuff. Just gotten off of that. And now this. He went on and he said, and I quote, in a tweet following Damar Hamlin, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." Now, I don't care what he said today following that statement. In light of in light of Shannon Sharp not coming to the show, not coming into work, we assume it's because of this tweet. But he went back, tried to justify it, tried to say that it was taken out of context. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe you were saying that this late in the season, a game of this magnitude is too crucial to the regular season. That statement seems irrelevant now due to what's happened on the field. And that thinking. That may be what you thought or what you were potentially implying. That way of thinking should be irrelevant. That's not what you said. Not what you said when you tweeted it. If you're going to say that, say that. See, like I've said in the past, you cannot leave interpretation. You can't leave room for interpretation when it comes to media, when it comes to sports, and definitely when it comes to Twitter. In everything, you want to be concise, deliberate. No room for error for somebody to potentially say what they think that you're saying. But this, the only other, if the fact that I don't know how else to interpret that type of tweet. In spite of what Skip Bayless was trying to say. Because it sounds like they're considering postponing the game, the NFL. But how could they? Why would they even? Because it's this late in the season, and this magnitude of a game is so big on the regular season outcome for these two teams, and potentially teams across the division. There's no way you can do this. All of a sudden that becomes irrelevant. Period. Not question mark. See, it's the backlash that he got for that is absolutely justified. And on top of that, how dare you go out your way to say something like this instead of what needed to be said, which was the outcome of this game is irrelevant. Standings and all don't matter. There's no doubt the NFL is considering postponing this game. That's what you could have said. That's what should have been said. Trying to backtrack now is the damage is done. I don't care how much you even if you are genuinely wrecked up like you said on Undisputed with this whole situation. Tossing and turning up and sleep at night, whatever the word you were saying. But it's not what you said. It's not what you said. What you said was, how can the NFL cancel this game with such big ramifications on the line, which suddenly seems irrelevant? That's what it came out as. And because of that, yes, you should get dragged. And you didn't even apologize for the tweet. See, this is why everybody shouldn't have access to say what they want to say. This is the one thing I don't get on people. I don't. But this is the one thing that I can't stand when it comes to analysts, fans, and whoever having a platform to speak when they say a bunch of nothing. If anything, they say a bunch of detrimental stuff. But yet they have the ability to have a voice. Not that they shouldn't, but it's widely spread. And they're one of the pinnacles that everybody's able to actively hear. Can't stand it. Because this is ignorant. This is utterly ridiculous. This is stupid. This is absolutely terrible, horrible, undeniably just not just lethargic of the situation, but seemingly blasé in this tweet. Seemingly it's just whatever. Shannon Sharpe, good reason for not coming into the show. And many people have good reason for getting on Skip Bayless. Because him and other people who say stuff like this continually perpetuate the notion that these people are only players, pawns, things that are only good for on the field. Could it have been a mistake? Maybe so. Could it have been court? Again, maybe so. Could this have just been a lapse of judgment in how in wordage, in wordage, in verbiage? Maybe so. But him seeing this track record throughout the years of saying stuff like this, we have. Again, didn't apologize for what he said. He said tried to justify what he said, when what he said outright can't really be taken anywhere else, any way else. It's the backlash is warranted. It's expected, and it's acceptable because people consistently, whether it's Skip Bayless or others, constantly, seemingly, only have a viewpoint of these players as just that, players, diminishing the severity of the situation, diminishing the life that's at risk. Now, granted, Skip Bayless has been a guy who's we've heard him be on the player's side. Sure, fine, we get that, we know that. Not saying that that's who he is, but I am saying we've seen other statements like this in the past. This was just this was despicable. I'm sorry. That's what this was despicable. This was horrible. This was terrible. It was utterly ridiculous that he even said that. The fact that this is one of those things when somebody tries to sound smart, they phrase stuff in a way that seems intellectual. Doing too much is what I would call it. And now, even if genuinely he was trying to say that this game is irrelevant, going above and trying to have some snarky, prestigious air in the tweet and in what he was saying, completely missed the mark of what his potential actual message was, like he said on Undisputed. It's a sham. It's a sham. It's a pain. It's a pain to consistently have to deal with this man and other people like him having this big of a platform when they say stuff like this. I'm not saying it should be taken away, but some people should not get spotlights. Some people shouldn't get the spotlight of what they have. It's a. I'm not trying to be mean. This is just the truth. We should not have spotlights of the things that they say. Again, this could have been a lapse in judgment. It could have just been. Actually, it wasn't misworded because he explained exactly what he was trying to say. Whether you want to say it's saving face or whether it's genuine, I'll leave that up to you. But these types of, we'll say bulletin boards, bulletin posts, are incredibly volatile. Because it's the fact that you willingly go and you diminish how severe the situation is. You can't be that blind. You can't be that tone deaf. You can't be that stupid. Try to write some intellectual type tweet to make it seem like you to me, it makes it seem like you're thinking on some higher plane, quote unquote. When in actuality, you're just hurting not only yourself, but just completely downplaying the entire situation of what's going on. It was unwarranted. It was unnecessary. It wasn't needed. It was stupid. It was ignorant. It was tone deaf. He was tone deaf. He was stupid. He was ignorant. He was belligerent. And he was wrong. Outright wrong. Because of that, look, whatever happens with the show happens with the show. Whatever happens with him and Skip, or with him and Shannon, that's whatever. People are saying it's already rocky. Some people are saying stuff is going down here. Whatever the case is, that's whatever. I'm not talking about the show. The main point is that when you have somebody is that at this high of a level, saying something so belligerently ignorant, no matter how he was trying to make it come across, so much so that it diminishes the at-risk life that is on hand on the field. There's no there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Shame on you, Skip Bayless, for even thinking of uttering anything else except for this game is irrelevant. Prayers up for Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin. And believe it or not, nothing else this whole quote unquote intellectual-esque holier than thou, higher than thou thinking type of response to the situation. Stupid. It's stupid. You're stupid. Shame for even uttering these words, thinking that this was a good idea, having this mindset. Can't believe that this is how some people legitimately feel they need to respond. It's concerning. Heartbreaking. Truly. Because there's no saving this type of response. There's none. There's no recovering from saying something like this. So you're trying to say, why should the NFL stop the game when somebody's potentially about to die? I'm sorry. This normally is a more upbeat show, but this stuff is what cannot be in media. Forget freedom of speech. That's not what I'm talking about. Whatever. Trying to use an argument like that is stupid, ignorant. Stuff like this is volatile. Stuff like this will diminish the life of the athlete. Statements like this are what trolls say, are what people that only feel athletes are just that, cattle, products, say. Because again, this made it seem like suddenly, when he says which suddenly seems so irrelevant, it makes it seem like that he's saying that all of the things that are at risk in terms of playoff contention, standings, and and matchups for the playoffs, all of a sudden seems so irrelevant in light of this injury. How can the NFL even consider postponing this game? That's how I took it when I first read it. Almost like a how dare you, NFL? What are you doing? People get hurt all the time, NFL. This is a league where we talked about CTE for a number of years and didn't care. What are you stopping the game for now, NFL? Play on, NFL. That's what it sounds like he was doing. In one of the most pretentious, disrespectful ways possible. We hope Damar Hamlin is okay. We hope everything pulls through. We hope that this is a somber reminder that sports are not just sports. This is not just a job, but a risk, a life-threatening risk. A legitimate way that people can die. Happen in boxing, it can happen in football. And with as volatile as the sport is. Again, like I said, it'll never be safe. We just hope. Gosh, we hope that Hamlin's okay. That he's able to actually come back and play the sport that he loves whenever he's fully recovered. And that we never lose sight of that these games, these sports are just games. No matter how much money they make, no matter how much cultural impact that they have, no matter how much people buy into the fan bases, buy into the players, no matter how much the sport moves the needle in economics, no matter how much love that you have and die-hard fanaticism that you have for whoever you root for, no matter how much you hate your rivals and you can't stand one team or the other, no matter how intense the thralls of competition get, no matter how close a game is, no matter how far apart a game is, that is just a game. And there are so many things bigger than it. Hopefully this is a stark reminder that we keep on holding these athletes as not athletes, but genuine people who love what they do and are willing to put their life on the line for what they do, for the entertainment of us, and for themselves, for their own self-accomplishment. But it's just a game. The sight of having the people crying on the sidelines, Josh Allen with his hands on his head, Stephon Diggs going back to the hospital, trying to be with him, trying to be with his teammate when he wasn't even allowed to get into the hospital at one point. He had to have somebody vouch for him to get into the hospital. Both teams praying together, both teams on the field, hoping everything's okay. That's what it should be about. Brotherhood, caring, and understanding that life is so much more precious than anything that we have in this sport, in these sports, in any sport. In any sport. And I hope that's exactly what we remember moving forward. Never forget, no matter how much stuff happens in the sports world, it's just a game. And the players and their lives mean so much more than anything else that we have in this bubble that we call sports, and this bubble that we call football. Please let's not forget that. But this has been another episode of Watch Report. I've been your host, Jean-Luc Welch. You've been an incredibly awesome and amazing viewer and listener. We got more to come going on later in the year. Trust and believe we're going to keep covering everything. Keep it locked right here. We'll be back again with another episode of Watch Report real soon. Best believe it. Peace and love. We out.